City officials publicly addressing the 5 weekend shootings this afternoon, saying this is an adult problem. This letter is signed by 40 state Democratic Assembly members asking President Biden to shorten the work authorization period. And we've actually got a lot more snow here than we did in the downtown. We're almost at that 5-inch mark out here in Woodlawn. Now, the other thing I want to show you is the roads in these neighborhoods. You want to take a little extra time surrounding a natural gas plant in Medford, Oklahoma, after an explosion there yesterday. His mom, Tiffany DeGraffenreid, says he's stable, but he has a long road ahead of him. Good evening. It is now the third day of protests over abortion rights. Out of an abundance of caution, the Waterville City School District chose to reschedule and move the game. But moving forward, district leaders say new safety protocol will be put in place to ensure home games can be held on their home field. They didn't want to go on camera, but said maintaining the sidewalks and having ADA accessibility is important for businesses. Many of their patrons are of an older population. Florida that claimed 49 lives. A moment of silence was held at Orlando City Hall Friday to remember those lost in this act of hate. Line due to the pandemic, but now they're getting back to their traditional in-store shopping. And rescuers have found the bodies of 7 people who died in a helicopter crash in northern Italy this week. If they vote yes, they'll be the second warehouse in New York State to unionize. Greg, there are at least 5 days left in the session before lawmakers head home, and there are some mixed reactions on this year's productivity. Residents say they're shocked their community barber shop turned into a crime scene Saturday afternoon after a shooting left 1 dead and 2 others injured. A memorial set up outside the Village Barber and Beauty Shop 24 hours after a daylight shooting Saturday.
I was shocked and I was a little, I could say upset, because it's like, why there?
Albany community left speechless over 3 shootings this weekend. Of those, 2 children were victims in separate crimes. Grassroots group UFD founder and mentor Dante Mitchell spends his free time mentoring young men in the city.
I mean, Second Ave is not a quiet area, but that particular section, I can't say I've seen any, like any issues over there.
It just happened every day, like, it's nothing new from us.
Sunday afternoon, Common Council member Sonia Frederick and Police Chief Eric Hawkins canvassed the Second Ave neighborhood, talking to residents.
And be an ongoing conversation around this area and how we make sure that this is still a good neighborhood for everyone around.
We have just this proliferation of handguns in our street, and individuals who have a willingness to use these guns as a way of resolving conflicts. It's unacceptable. It won't be tolerated.
Mayor Kathy Sheehan says the city will be using state funding to continue investing in gun violence prevention efforts. She also hopes changes to the bail reform law will keep the suspects, when they're arrested, off the street.
We fully expect that now that that law has been clarified, that they will be remanded. Sadly, we have 2 children now, within a matter of hours, who were impacted by gun violence. Both of them are going to be physically okay, but the trauma of that is devastating.
Unfortunately, it's a trauma these kids say they're used to.
It's sad, bro, just cause you keep hearing shots every day, so at this point, you just gotta go with it.
According to police, this weekend marks the 5th homicide in Albany this year, with 17 shooting incidents and 25 shooting victims. In Albany, Emma Quinn, CBS 6 News. Darlene McGraw spoke at Tuesday's County Board of Supervisors meeting, and now supervisors are reacting to her comments. McGraw says it was a pivotal moment in her work to get more ADA compliance here within the county, but it's what wasn't said that made the most noise. Silence is all that could be heard when Saratoga Springs resident George Murray signed his concerns about a lack of ADA compliance at this week's Saratoga County Board of Supervisors meeting. Mr. Murray's letter was read by a county clerk as an ASL interpreter was unable to attend.
I was trying to obtain services at DSS, but I was unable because they wouldn't provide an ASL interpreter, and it's required under state and federal American with Disabilities Act law. I wish Saratoga County would have a better way to request accommodations to access services, programs, and activities.
The American with Disabilities Act is 32 years old.
The silence comes as activist Darlene McGraw has spent months working to make her community more accommodating.
There's many types of disabilities out there. There's sidewalks, there's hearing difficulties, visual difficulties, and many other types of disabilities that you might not know.
That silence caught the attention of board members, including Waterford Town Supervisor Jack Lawler.
I could tell the passion as he was signing that this is something very important to him. That part of it we could all get. But to have the message then read to us, I realized how that took away from his expectations of us as his representatives. And so we've got to do something about that.
Lawler adds providing an ASL interpreter at public meetings is long overdue. City Commissioner of Saratoga Springs, Tara Gaston, says Darlene and George's presence is appreciated.
You know, we hear from Darlene all the time. We love her comments and telling us, ways that we can improve. But having George and his different experience as an individual who's hard of hearing, I think that really brought it. I definitely saw supervisors who were watching him sign going, oh, that's something that we haven't experienced before.
Gaston says one way the county could improve is having an ASL interpreter present at meetings and having them part of the live stream along with the closed captioning. For McGraw, she says this is a step in the right direction, but just the beginning.
I'm so proud of George, because he did such a great job. We all learn from different places, and I hope that other municipalities and other places would learn from Saratoga County now. I hope we can be the ones teaching other people how to do things.
I reached out to multiple counties throughout the region to see if they have an ASL interpreter on staff. Albany County says they partner with an organization to provide those interpreters at all large public meetings. Reporting in Saratoga Springs, Emma Quinn, CBS 6 News. Veteran Danny Pisnell fought for our country from 1976 to 2004. Now, Danny is in the fight for his life with glioblastoma and aggressive brain cancer. He and his doctors say it's a result of toxic chemicals from burn pits like the ones where Danny served in Kuwait.
Well, the surgery, we actually we're meeting with Dr. Chang at Dartmouth today to find out how that went, but we think it went fairly well.
The 2 surgeries Danny has undergone in the last 4 months cost upwards of $200,000. With the help of the PAC Act, Danny and his family have a little less to worry about when it comes to paying for medical bills.
To have somebody come in this time and day and say it's all covered, don't worry, and then follow through with that, it's, use the word miracle a lot, but that's pretty much what it is.
Friday morning, Danny met U.S. Senator Peter Welch. Welch fought for the legislation after hearing Danny's story.
Well, I wanted to meet Danny, and I was so inspired by him.
Welch says the cost of war is more than the cost of bullets.
Many of them have cancer like Danny, and the cost of the war has to include the cost of caring for the warrior. That's our duty.
According to the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, the PAC Act is the most significant expansion of veterans' benefits in more than 3 decades. For Danny, his fight is making sure his fellow veterans have access to the care needed, but they take advantage before it's too late.
Don't wait until you get sick.
In Vermont, Emma Quinn, CBS 6 News.